Mark Pope and his Kentucky Wildcats are facing off against McMahon and his LSU Tigers. Now, I'm going to be quite honest with you. I'm not sure how Matt McMahon still has a job. LSU has been lackluster at best while he's been there. I mean, seriously. They've had one winning season so far. I mean, they had a 17-16 season in 2023, 2024. Kentucky, on the other hand, Mark Pope, this is his second year. He got them to the Sweet 16 last year. They are 19-12 right now, 10-8 in the SEC. LSU is 15-16, 3-15 in the SEC. These two teams have met uh, already this season. Of course they have. Kentucky won that 75-74, and it was at LSU. Now, statistically speaking, both of these teams are fairly similar in a lot of ways. They are. They're very similar in a lot of ways. Kentucky probably won off of the ability to have a better coach because I'm not seeing a lot of reasons why you would keep LSU's coach. This is not the women's basketball team by any stretch of the imagination. It isn't. Kentucky, hey, they made it to the Sweet 16 last year. That by itself is a good thing. But I'm looking at these two teams and I'm going, though they are so similar statistically, they are so different in so many other ways. So we're going to cover this. Now, I normally cover women's basketball, I'm well aware, and I will get back to it. But hey, I watch men's basketball as well. I am far more of a NBA historian than I am a lot of other things. So we're going to do this. We're going to do it by the numbers. If you're new to my channel, this is how I do things. I cover things statistically. Why? Because that normally tells me who's going to win. But records also goes. So let's get to it. Before we get into the crux of this video, hit like, hit subscribe if you like college sports, because I do college sports, primarily college football, college women's gymnastics, do a little basketball and other sports on occasion, but that's what I do, college. Also, General Robert Neyland, former University of Tennessee head football coach for decades, had 7 maxims to win any game, but they can also help you if you apply them correctly to your life. The second one is play for and make the breaks. When one comes your way, score. That is a maxim that can be also applied to your life. Look for those breaks and take it. We're going to start with LSU. They're the lower seeded of the two. 81.4 points per game is what they've scored. They've allowed 78.2 points a game. 47% field goal percentage, 76.7 free throw percentage, 33.3 3-point percentage, 6.8 3-points made per game, 14.8 assists. They're not a very team-oriented team. 34.4 defensive rebounds, 10.7 turnovers a game, 4 blocked shots, and 6.1 steals. Now, their second leading scorer is not going to be able to be in this game. They've got two key injuries, and in all honesty, this is probably a lot of what's been going on with them. Jalen Reed, and who's a forward, and Deaton Thomas Jr., who's a guard, and led in assists, is currently still tied for most points per game, is out. So Max McKinnon, leading scorer, 31.8 minutes a game, 15.3 points, 2.6 rebounds, 2.5 assists, zero point 0.6 steals, zero point 0.3 blocks, 2 turnovers a game. Little high there. 40.8 field goal percentage. It's decent. 89% free throw percentage, 37.8 3-point percentage. So he's not bad from three beyond the arc. Mike Nowalki, uh 21.4 minutes, 13.3 points, 5.7 rebounds, zero point 0.8 assists, 0.5 steals, 0.9 blocks, 1.8 turnovers, 61.2 field goal percentage, but he doesn't score three pointers, 76.2 free throw percentage. So really good in the paint. Markel Sutton, 31.2 minutes a game, 13.2 points, 7.3 rebounds, 0.7 assists, 0.6 steals, 0.3 blocks, one turnover a game, 45.9 field goal percentage, 29.9 3-point percentage, and 82.4 free throw percentage. Pablo Tamba, who leads in rebounds and steals, 28.6 minutes a game, 8 points a game, 7.4 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 1.2 steals, zero point 0.5 blocks, one turnover, 62.1 field goal percentage, 32% 3-point percentage, and 61.1 free throw percentage. This team's got an injury problem. They've not got a deep enough bench to cover for Dean Thomas Jr. having been out after just 16 games. Jalen Reed was out after only playing 6 games. And they've got a few other players that aren't seeing much playtime either. You've got some overworked kids on this team. Shooting percentages inside the paint, I can see why they make the three, or they don't make as many 3 points. You know, that's the problem here. You're looking at your leading scorer is 40.8 field goal percentage. And he's not playing to his strengths, which is 3-pointer. You've got a forward that should be taking most of your paint. You've got two forwards, actually, in Sutton and Milwaukee. And Tamba is not bad. That should be taking your inside work, but they're not getting enough of it. This team's not working as a team. It really isn't. So that's a coaching issue right there. You've got two injuries that took people out for the rest of the season. That's hurting you. So Jalen Reese is your leading in assist, is who's leading in assist. He's doing 3.5 assists a game and only scoring 5.6 points. His shooting percentage is not the best in the world. Leading blockers for Robert Miller, 1.4 blocks. He's at 6.1 points a game. This team is not working as that, like I said, and too many disappointments, but you would think that the coach would be able to work around that. Now, the Wildcats, 81.2 points a game is what they score. They allow 73.7 points, 46.6 field goal percentage, 72.3 free throw percentage, 34.9 3-point percentage. They make 8.3 3-points a game, 16.2 assists. A little bit better on the teamwork, not as much as I'm sure the Pope would want. 34.5 defensive rebounds, 10.1 turnovers a game, 4.3 block shots, and they get 7.1 steals. Now, Otega Owe, leading scorer, leading in steals. He's a guard, 31.8 minutes, 18.2 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 1.8 steals, zero point 0.2 blocks, 2 turnovers, 47.2 field goal percentage, and 35.5 3-point percentage with 73.2 field goal percentage, or free throw percentage. That's not a bad number, actually. Or those aren't bad numbers, actually. Denzel Aberdeen, who leads in assists, 29.6 minutes, 12.9 points, 2.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, zero point 0.6 steals, 0.1 blocks, 1.2 turnovers, 43.1 field goal percentage, and 35.7 3-point percentage, 79.2 free throw percentage. Colin Chandler, 26.2 minutes a game, 10 points a game, 2.9 rebounds, 2.2 assists, 1.2 steals, zero point 0.3 blocks, 1.1 turnovers, 44.1 field goal percentage, 49.1 3-point percentage, and 82.7 free throw percentage. And then you have Mohamed Diobati, 21.3 minutes a game, 8.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, 0.9 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, zero point 0.8 turnovers, 52% field goal percentage, 13.6 3-point percentage, and 63% free throw percentage. Now, Malachi Marino, their center, leads in rebounds and blocks, 6.6 rebounds, 1.6 blocks. He also scores 8.3 points a game. Now, look, Otego Owe is a good player. I mean, looking at his stats, he's a good player. This team needs to work a little bit better as a team, but overall, their stats, their numbers, not bad. They don't seem to be as destroyed by injuries. Got a decent bench. For the most part, everybody's getting switched in and out when they need to be switched in and out. They really do seem to be doing what a team needs to do to be getting there. I don't know if they're an NCAA worthy team. They might be able to be in there because they're at 19 wins. They've got their own little problems, but overall, they seem to be able to hit where they're aiming, and they just probably need to have a few players that need to stay away from the 3-point line. But they've still got some shooters in there. Colin Chandler at 43.1 3-point percentage. Hey, not a bad number at all. They just need to rely on more than Otega Owe to score for them. I'm looking at what ESPN has. They've got 75.1% chance for Kentucky to win this game, 24.9 for LSU. To be perfectly honest with you, that is probably what's going to happen. These two teams are quite similar in a lot of ways. When they head into Bridgestone Arena, I can see the Big Blue Nation being able to handle this game easily. Um, it'll probably be fairly close, but I don't see both the coaching and the depth of the bench for LSU being any major problem. Mark Pope is probably wanting to put on a good show to get the pick into the NCAA. And looking at it, I mean, it is what it is. Uh, they got beat by their rivals, Louisville. Got beat by Michigan State. Both of them were ranked teams. Got beat by Gonzaga pretty convincingly. At least they took North Carolina to a decent total. Then they got into SEC play and then automatically lost to Alabama and Mizzou. But then again, though, the Alabama situation is weird. Lost to Vandy. We're able to beat Alabama and Tennessee, or Alabama, Arkansas and Tennessee. Lost the last two games of the regular season to Texas A&M, Florida. This is a team that both these teams are a little disappointing in some ways, but Kentucky's got coaching. Kentucky's got some players that are showing that they can do things that they need to do. Needing to get a little bit better at scoring, need to get a little bit better at teamwork. But overall, yeah, I think that the Big Blue Nation should have this. So you tell me what you think. Think if I'm wrong on that one. I think, between coaching and the two key players being out for LSU, that's going to make a lot of difference. This has been Paul with Redneck Sports. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. Hey, folks, before you leave, if you're can't become a member via my YouTube channel, which that's for my thinker. I've also got sports. I've got a Patreon. If you really, really want to help me out, I would be much appreciated. But hey, hitting like, hit subscribe, hit commenting, all those things really help me out. Have a good day.